Brendan, do you want to take us through what are the emotions going through your mind today?
Yeah, look, disappointment in some respects, but also, you've got to keep things in perspective. I guess with experience you learn that, probably took things a lot tougher when I was a player in particular. As you become an older player, you realise that you've got to get over things quick, and certainly from a coach's perspective, you've got to learn to get over things. You can't dwell on it. But look, when you keep things in perspective, if you asked us we'd make a preliminary final at the beginning of the year, we probably would have taken that. But our expectations build along the way as we were starting to consistently win games. Obviously, your expectations go up, and you're challenging yourself to actually win the whole thing. So we put ourselves in a position to, having the home finals and even get to the stage where, we're 1 point down with about 5 minutes to go. You start to think, well, this is our home court, we're going to get them. So then there's possession exchanges, and then again up, by a point with 2 minutes to go. The signs were pretty good that we'd get across the line, but credit to Nunawading, they're going to the grand finals, so obviously wish them well. That's my old club in their success trying to win it.
And how would you sum up the whole year, how you've gotten to this point?
Oh, pretty good, pretty positive. You bring a new group of guys together. I think we had 7 players that weren't in the team last year. So, there's Ross, Foxy and Shorty. They were the only 3 that were mainstays. So we've done pretty well, not only to win games, but it's you don't win games if you can't build team chemistry and cohesion and have the right style of play to suit the players. We had our challenges throughout the year where the guys were going away with, the NBL teams and injuries, and to finish on top in the end, it was pretty positive. So I'm not really disappointed in respect as far as the season goes. We've had a really, really good season, and sets us up well going into the new stadium. Got people excited about basketball again. With the 2 finals, the 2 home finals was as far as we could go as far as having home games. So it's pretty good, and from a community perspective leading into the next year, especially going into a bigger facility, that we've got people excited about basketball.
Were there learnings to take away from that game, or was it kind of just that bad luck that didn't get you over the line?
Yeah, look, there's learnings. When it's a 1-2 point game, which is what it was, and then we tried a couple of things at the end, there's not much in it. It really comes down to consistency of how we wanted to play. So we didn't get off to the greatest of start, or probably you could say the first 2 minutes was okay, but then we allowed them to score baskets that we planned on not letting them score open. They had some open shots, and credit to them, they knocked them down. But the game plan was to make guys put the ball to the deck, not have open shots, and that was just a bit of a loss of focus. And just from an offensive point of view, I felt that we didn't execute what we wanted to do. In particular, the first quarter, there was actually opportunities that we created to get open shots, and we passed up on them. And I think we were tight. In particular, the first probably 6 to 8 minutes. Not everybody, but there were definitely shot opportunities that we planned on creating, which we created, and we didn't take them. And with 5 or 6, 7 seconds, ball was thrown to somebody else, and they have to try and score under pressure. But in saying that, after that first quarter, or towards the end of the first quarter, we started to get things rolling, and then we fell away again at the start of the third. But then we went on big runs after midway through the third, and that's when I thought, we could definitely get this. So once it's close, it's anybody's game.
I guess just what made them so tough?
I think their experience. I think the fact that they lost last year, they're running out of time as far as in their own minds about winning the championship, because a lot of those guys are in their 30s, and they haven't gone through it last year. I certainly think they came out together at the beginning and used that experience and probably the adversity of losing last year to say, hey, we're going to give it everything we can. And I think they did really well, basically getting the lead in the first quarter. We talked about trying to hit first. I actually spoke to the players and said, in big games, you want to hit first. If you can, knock them completely out, but we didn't. So if you go back through history of finals and things like that, if a team can jump out, sometimes, a lot of times you hit teams, some teams fold. I didn't expect that from them, but what you want to do is try and control the momentum, and it's good for a coach to be ahead and then controlling the momentum. We were behind. So I feel pretty good about the fact that the boys didn't lay down, and we tried some things and we got back into the game. We put ourselves in a position to win, and that's what I'm supposed to do as well, not just the players. And we got ourselves into that opportunity to try and get across the line, but it didn't happen. And going back to your, answering your question, the reason is because we played a good team that's been experienced and played well together, and they had a will to say, well, we're going to get this. And I actually expect them to win it, but nothing's guaranteed. Benny goes, they've had a pretty good ride in respect to winning their away games with players missing on other teams, but there was no excuse for Frankston. I believe they had their full team. So Benny goes playing really good basketball at the right time, but you would suspect Nunawading would probably carry this through. What were the reasons? I think they're experienced, and I think they got off to a good start against us, and we were playing catch-up, but we did get ahead. Sometimes you're playing catch-up and you never quite get ahead, but the lead was swinging in the last 6 minutes, and that's where I thought, oh, this is good. I'd rather have this at home than away. But we just didn't get across the line. This is 7 players playing together that don't know a lot about each other in respect to, how we'd perform in those situations, but we still performed quite well. I wouldn't be too critical. If we lost by 15 or 20, and you could say, oh, well, that wasn't good. But, we played some good basketball and made it really tough for Nunawading as well.
And, so what happens now? Do you guys start looking towards next season and bringing guys back, or, what's the process?
Yeah, well, I guess the first thing is that looking at what guys are going to be doing, in respect to our Aussie guys, Kwani and Dengi, and because they've got NBL contracts now, and they might not be able to come back. Kwani could be stuck in Sydney. He might not be able to come back during the Melbourne off season. We don't know that at this point. We really haven't discussed anything because we've been focused on this. Trying to get to the grand final, because otherwise you can get distracted. But now we'll have some discussions and find out what guys are planning to do. At this level, we're sort of in the middle. There's always going to be change. These guys are going to be going on to higher levels, and we wish them well. That's our job, to help them get to a higher level. Same with the American guys. They might get some big pay jobs overseas. So that's the nature of the business and the situation we're in. Usually going to have some forced change, depending on what transpires for those guys, because they've got to take care of themselves. So I think we'll be okay. But we've probably had a season above expectations. We've raised the expectations, so now we want to meet those same expectations next year. So it'd be good if we could keep, majority of the team together. But sometimes that's beyond your control because of all those situations with, the contracts that players get offered to go overseas or in the NBL. So what that may mean, it might mean we get the next young kid and bring them in and help them, and which helps us as well. So, we'll continue to work with our younger players here at Ballarat and continue their development to try and, get them to be major contributors on this team as well down the track.
Yep. And just onto the youth kids. You've been obviously the coordinator of basketball development and whatnot. Are you proud of what they've achieved? Yeah, well, I think one of the great things about the youth league team winning. They've struggled the last 5 or 6 years, and with that they've dropped down, in competition levels, and this allows them to get back into Division 1. So if we're going to develop our local guys to make the minors team and have more players in it, they need to be playing at the highest level. So it was really important for us to align. So this year, we worked together. We put in a style of plays exactly the same as the minors, and I think that was really helpful. Not only for those kids to, when they train with us and play with us, there's no anxiety, they know what they're doing, but it's helped them win. And now the next step is they're going to be in a tough competition next year. It's going to go up a couple of levels, which is good for their development, So it might take a bit of time before we can win, say, the Division 1 Youth League, but what I like is they're going to be playing against a higher level of talent every week, which is going to raise their development as well. So. And that's good for us because if they raise the development of the younger players, then it obviously helps them take a closer step to making the minors.
Well, Marqueze, I might just ask you on that topic. So, plans to just go home for a little bit now?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's been a long season, 6 months. Time to get back home, see the family, see my son, my newborn son. yeah, just looking forward to that.
Beautiful. And what are some of the thoughts and feelings following the game from the weekend?
I'm still holding kind of a little grudge towards the loss because I don't like losing in general. With that being said, we had a good season. We had a really good season. We finished on top of the ladder. We came up short. We all wanted the championship, but credit to Nunawading. We played a great team in the semifinals. A veteran team, experienced team, that showed against us on the past weekend. So can't knock them. We came up short, but with all that being said, we had a great season.
Beautiful. And kind of looking back on the season, can you give us a bit of a summary of how it kind of went for you, how you see it?
It was up and down for me. You guys know I've been hurt throughout the season a few times, so it's up and down. But I'm never the one to focus on the negative. So when I was out there, I thought I did really well. The team held it up when I was gone. So in perspective, I would say it was a really good season for us this past season, and for myself as well. No. That's it. I appreciate it.
Don't get away that easy.
I suppose you personally, what are your plans now as far as playing wise when you get back to America?
I have a few things lined up right now, but like I was telling her, my main focus is getting back home and seeing my family, seeing my son. It's been a while since I've seen them, so I'm just really looking forward to that. Like I said, a few things lined up, but we'll see where it takes me.
Yeah. And is the door open for a possible return to Ballarat in 2020?
Yeah, of course, always. But being realistic, I know it's a long time between now and March. Anything can happen. But of course, I'm always open to coming back to Bellary. It's a wonderful town here. I had a great time. People are friendly. Nothing but love for the organization. So, I always keep that open mind, and I'm sure Coach and I will have a discussion, sometime soon, given I'm going home soon. So, of course, I'm always open-minded to coming back to Ballarat.
I suppose just on the season, you guys seemed like you all got along really well, and the unity was all there. Is it sort of safe to say there was a really good environment sort of within the team?
Oh yeah, most definitely. That started our first day when we all got here as a unit. We had a team meeting, and then we talked about our culture and how we want to build things. We know how things were done here in the past, and how we wanted to change it and really uplift the community, get them more involved and things like that. And just as a basketball team, as a culture, we wanted to change that as a whole. And I thought we've done that this year to break the ground through. We had a great year. Team chemistry was great. We loved each other, and that's all you really want to ask for a basketball team. Like Coach said, we were a new group. So, that's really was a big foundation of what we wanted to do this year.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Bit of a different vibe for you guys finishing on the weekend. Take us through, how are you feeling today?
Good. We got a really good win over Geelong, so the boys celebrated a little bit over the weekend, and we had a good time.
As Coach Joyce was saying, it's been kind of years since you guys have had this success. Is that something you're really proud of to look back on?
Yeah, for sure. Our youth league team didn't even make finals last year and haven't even made finals for a couple of years before that. So to get into the grand final and win the whole thing is, it's surreal for sure.
And knowing that the competition is going to be extra tough next year, is that something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, definitely looking forward to the extra tough competition. Hopefully get some of the same guys back so we can kind of build on it and see where it takes us.
And in terms of the game, can you take me through how you guys got over the line?
We wanted to come out better than we did a couple of weeks ago against Corio. So I think we did a really good job of that, and kept the momentum going. And a couple of players made some big shots, and it was good.
And what do you think were the team's strengths, really?
I thought we shot the ball pretty well. Myself, maybe not, but the rest of the team shot the ball pretty well, so definitely helped. Getting rebounds, over their big players, that was definitely a main focus of ours. And pushing the ball in general, just playing at our pace and not playing at their pace too much. So yeah.
Did they?